Well, good morning. Yeah, 222. I thought about the numbers a little bit and realized that 2 is the number of duality, which some people see as an enemy and others see as a blessing. I guess it depends on what you do with it, like everything else in the world. The title for today, the message for January 21st, is Escape Village. Questions abound. In our recorded conversation on his birthday, I asked the ambassador about the escape village that was mentioned on one of his recent Q&A sessions with Dave Schmidt. And I forgot the S on sessions. He told people to contact me about it. However, all I know is that it's going to be in Asia somewhere. Yes, he did say it will be a place where people can come together to work on humanitarian projects, but when it will actually be launched was not revealed to me. I'm certainly not going to make up answers. Like many of you, I'd like to have the sense that things are progressing in a direction that will liberate us all from financial tyranny and human slavery. While I do sense an undercurrent moving beneath the surface of world events, it still does not appear that anyone other than the criminal cabal is calling the shots. As long as this continues, many people are going to want to escape. No sane person enjoys seeing the pain and suffering being unleashed in various parts of the world by these psychopaths. The rich man's trick of problem reaction solution still seems to be operational, despite the fact that many are waking up. The sad truth is, however, that many more still choose to ignore political implications of the long-hidden truths that are being revealed. As I see it, there will be no escape anytime soon if we fail to come together and stop cooperating with the cabal with our silence about its crimes. Yes, indeed. I know it's not in China, although I know that they're building a lot of cities in China that are still uninhabited, that can house millions of people in these ghost cities that they're building. But I do know that he told me that it wasn't in China. I think it was somewhere in Southeast Asia. But I don't know the location, and I don't even quite honestly remember. He might have mentioned to me the country, but I don't know if he said Malaysia or Cambodia, or I know we've talked about different countries in that region, but I'm not sure where it's going to be. And I don't know when it's going to be set up, and I don't know how they're going to implement bringing people there to work on what I hope are free energy projects and health, true health systems that actually restore people's health and don't keep them in bondage to paying the pharmaceutical companies for all of the side effects, treatment of the side effects, which is the way they do business, because it's all about money, money, money. And quite frankly, there's enough money in this world to run the entire world without taxing people, without any way harvesting the energy of people for a long, long time to come, probably forever. We don't need money, but we could run the whole world, all of the governments, all of the institutions, all of the corporations. We could run them all with what money is available if it was distributed. Now, next year, according to a report that I read yesterday, next year, 1% of the world's people will control more than 50% of the world's wealth. Spoken of in money, obviously. Now that's an absurdity, and it keeps growing. It keeps growing and growing and growing. The imbalance between the rich and everyone else. The richest 1%. What a travesty. Now I promised when I began doing these videos, and I've reiterated the promise numerous times since, that I'm not going to bullshit you. I'm not going to sugarcoat things. I'm not going to put on a mask and wear a happy face. I was really shit-faced yesterday. I was down in the dumps most of the day. I posted a thing about my New Thought, New Age community, my spiritual community. I posted some things about that in the last couple of days. And one person said, I wish you were open-minded like you used to be. And another one chastised me. Another one of my friends chastised me for making other people wrong. That their way of doing the healing was about becoming happy and doing the happy stuff. And my way of being in your face and telling people what's wrong, that's just not acceptable in the circles that used to be my spiritual community. It's not acceptable to them. You know, I watched a video yesterday. I watched a video that was done on purpose, where they had two actors, one of them dressed up as a businessman, the other dressed up as a homeless man. And they went out onto the streets, both of them with crutches, apparently a handicap, and both of them would fall down on camera in various settings and watch the reaction. They spent a couple of hours filming each man in different settings. The well-dressed man that looked like a businessman, as when he would fall down, everyone would come around and help him up and see what they could do to help. The homeless man, only one person in the entire time that they filmed helped him. Everyone else looked at him, looked down their noses at him, but didn't say anything, didn't raise a finger to help. Only another man who was actually homeless helped lift him up and give him a hand. What does that say about human culture? Volumes. It speaks volumes. And I asked myself, what would I do? And then I was reminded of the few weeks that I spent in that summer after I got out of the Army back in 1967. I spent some time working in the area of the Bowery Mission in Lower Manhattan. And we'd go out, Jim Strockman and I would go out at night and we'd help people that were drunk and falling in the curb, and we'd help keep them from getting run over by vehicles, because sometimes it was in the street. And we'd lend a hand. We'd help those who would be the despised of our world. And as I said, reading the comments of a couple of my friends cut me to the core. I mean, I realized with great sadness that I don't have a spiritual community that is what I thought it was. It doesn't exist for me here in the area that I've lived for since 1983, so it'll be 32 years in March that I've lived here. But I don't have a spiritual community. It doesn't exist. Because the people in that community think that the way to do it is not the way that I do it. It's not my calling. And I was feeling really, really down, and I thought, man, when I go do that video tomorrow, I'm going to be in a really bad place, because when I wrote the blurb last night, I was in a really bad place. I was not feeling good. I was basically saying, God, I'm ready to die. I can't take this anymore. I'm ready to die. I don't like it. And I went to bed fairly early, 8:30, 9 o'clock, somewhere around there. And I woke up, it was again early, before midnight. And it took me a long time to fall back to sleep, but I did fall back to sleep at some point. I don't know the exact point, but I had a dream. And the dream lifted me where Very few people could have lifted me. In the dream, I was in the workshop. And there was a lady, and one of the questions we always ask people at the beginning of the workshop is, what do you want us to know about you? And this lady in the dream, without batting an eyelash, without any signs of shame or trepidation, said, I'm a prostitute. And she went on to tell us a little bit about what that meant for her and what it meant to her. And she wasn't showing, as I said, any signs of shame about what she did. She was just simply throwing her shoulders back and telling it like it was. She was surviving and living in this world, making her living as a prostitute. And in the dream, I began to praise her for her honesty. And I actually woke up from the dream, and I'm still praising her for being willing to do what it takes to break the matrix. And what does it take? It takes telling the truth. It takes facing things, what they really are, and calling it what it really is. No bullshit, no masks, no deception, no lies. The plain truth. I wonder if the Illuminati started getting on television and telling the truth. Like, for example, Rockefeller, he told the truth. You know, he says, yeah, we're conspiring. We're conspiring to run the world, to create a world that fits what we want, that marches to our orders. Yeah, there's a conspiracy. He straight out said it in his autobiography or his biography or whatever it was that he said that. He owned it. Well, I thought about that as I was meditating this morning, about this prostitute in my dream, and about Rockefeller, who owned it. Now, I don't agree with what the conspiracy is all about. I don't agree with a new world order that has a combat boot on every human face. I don't agree with the plans of the Illuminati, the Western Illuminati, that runs out of the House of Rothschild and the House of Rockefeller, and with the Bush cabal leading the way. These are the rich man's tricks. These are the people that run the rich man's tricks. And they're not very nice tricks. They're murderers. They're thieves. Their corruption knows no bounds. And my job continues to be to tell people the kind of world we live in, because most people still don't want to believe it. And it's not an easy job, any more than the prostitute's job is an easy job if she's hanging around people that are going to judge her for her prostitution. The workshops used to be a place where I felt I could be myself. I no longer feel that I can be myself in the workshops, because now they're trying to be spiritual. They're trying to be something other than just human beings. They're trying to look only at the positive and not the negative. They're trying to be acceptable so that they can accept themselves in their own eyes. It's not what it was. Neither are the churches that I used to go to what I thought they were. Now, I was told that New Thought, the strength of New Thought is that they're non-judgmental. Well, they're non-judgmental unless you're trying to talk about politics and the political implications of what's going on in our world. And you'll find that their non-judgmental stuff ends quickly. And all of a sudden, they not only become judgmental, they want to push you out. I was pushed out of my own spiritual community. And I don't feel welcome to this day in any of the ones that I used to, even the ones that I used to attend once in a while. Oh, there's still people that hug me, and I can still feel love from some of the people. But overall, there's an undercurrent. As I said, I feel in the world, there's an undercurrent in this community that does not accept me. And how many times do we have an idea of what is proper, and we judge people that don't fit that ideal? But what is proper in this world, or what the status quo is deception. It's plastic smiles, it's costumes, and roles that portray us something other than what the reality is. We will never be free as long as we play those games. That is the game of the cabal. That is the game of the rich man. That is the game of those that want to control the world. It's deception, deception, and more deception. They lie through their teeth. Nothing they say can be counted on as true. Now, I started by talking about escape villages. I trust that I will see the day when the whole world is safe and we won't need to escape to do good. When we won't need to escape to tell the truth. That the whole world will become an environment that encourages growth and encourages people to lift them up, to give them a hand when they slip and fall, and not put them down, including the Illuminati. Yeah, I'm an idealist. I'll own that. I'm a dreamer. I own that too. And I wish more people in the world would join us, because I'm not the only one. I want to see the world, as John Lennon said, become as one. It won't do that as long as we lie and try to maintain the status quo. The way the system has been, the way the matrix still is not good, folks. And the sooner we recognize that and say no more, the better it will be, the more easy the transition from the old to the new will be. Because we're in the throes of a new paradigm. And something is going to give. The old system is not sustainable. Never was. Think about these things, and thank you for listening. Namaste.